Heads are rolling at Crown Resorts. 2 board members have resigned as the fallout begins. The New South Wales regulator says Crown needs to essentially blow itself up to save itself and keep its Sydney gaming licence. The company is pleading for more time to reform after being found unfit to operate its Barangaroo VIP casino.
Less than 24 hours since the damning report, 2 of Crown's leaders were already on their way out.
That's great news. That means that somebody's listening to us.
They're the first dominoes to fall following the landmark report blocking Crown Sydney from opening its VIP gaming rooms.
Crown needing to blow itself up to save itself, that's probably pretty close to the mark. It needs a lot of change, a lot of concern we have around the links to organised crime.
Crown directors Michael Johnston and Guy Jowland have resigned. Not only were they both working for Crown, but also for Consolidated Press Holdings, James Packer's separate business, which technically owns his Crown shares. The Bergen inquiry found it blurred lines between the 2 companies, gave Mr Packer's business confidential information about Crown, and let Mr Packer believe he was still in control of the gaming giant. And late today, his company severed its ties with board member John Poynton, seemingly ending Mr Packer's influence on the Crown board.
Things have got to happen, things have got to change, it's pretty obvious. As Bergen says, they have been infiltrated by, they're her words, infiltrated by organised crime. And for a casino operator, there can't be anything worse, can there?
We know this company has been operating in other states for a long time, and other states haven't taken this step in having these activities examined.
In Victoria, where allegations first emerged, there are still no moves to intervene with Crown Melbourne's licence.
We will review, and we won't waste any time doing it. We're looking very carefully at all the different findings that have been made, and we'll have more to say quite soon.
The New South Wales regulator doesn't know how long it could take Crown to put forward its company-wide plan for reform. When the regulator convenes next week, it's unlikely to budge from the view that Crown is unsuitable to run the Barangaroo Casino. The licence is currently suspended, but officially expires in April, giving Crown little time to turn the ship around. Josh Bavis, ABC News, Sydney.
And Josh Bavis joins me now. Josh, are any more board members likely to go?
Juanita, the gaming regulator chief, today said that Crown will probably have to rebuild itself from the ground up. So that means that it's likely almost an entire new board is required. You can imagine Crown will likely right now be on a furious talent hunt. Helen Coonan, the current chairwoman who is set to stay on with the company, left no time to waste today calling the ILGA chief, saying that she was already working on an overhaul. So no doubt in the coming days we're likely to expect to hear about more dramatic exits.
Josh Bavis reporting there. Serious questions are now being asked about the state government process which ultimately approved the Barangaroo Casino. The Bergen report has outlined how James Packer received approval for the $2 billion development. The Greens say the rules were changed for Crown and the government has a lot to answer for. Here's state political reporter Ashley Raper.
These are the events laid out in the Bergen report. In February 2012, the then Premier Barry O'Farrell and James Packer went to broadcaster Alan Jones's house, and there Mr Packer pitched his idea of a casino at Barangaroo to the Premier. In August, the pair met again, and the report says Mr O'Farrell told Mr Packer to submit his casino plan through the government's unsolicited proposal process. The report then says a week later, the government changed the rules for that process. It meant Mr Packer's plan no longer needed an independent evaluation to avoid an open tender. The proposal was submitted and Cabinet signed off on the first step for it to proceed. Gladys Berejiklian was in Cabinet at the time. Was it wrong for the government to sign off and Cabinet to sign off on that unsolicited proposal in 2012 and then enter into the agreement in 2013?
There's no evidence of that whatsoever. Can I say, after a decade, that the unsolicited approval process is very robust?
The government needs to take responsibility. They threw out the rule book when it came to Crown, and now it's blown up in their faces.
In 2013, the state entered into an agreement with Crown, and the government changed the law to allow a second casino in Sydney, a move which Labor supported.